Hmm? What, babe? Where's my phone? For what? What? Hi, Beth.
Hey,
Hi, babe.
how are ya?
Good. How are you?
Let me see if this is. It always looks so,
Like grainy. It's until more people come on.
is that what it is?
Yeah, then when more people come on, it'll be okay. I know.
I wonder why.
It's like, the only thing we could do better, I talked about, is buying like the ring, or like Matt uses it. When Matt does meetings, he has like this ring light, so it makes your lighting look really good from home.
Yeah, I know. My light, look at my wall.
Beth, we should do it for Beth for the call. What? You're gonna,
I'll show you. You can see the difference.
honey, people are gonna be getting on.
Not now.
Not now, baby.
Yeah.
Not now. No, thank you.
Let me see if I can put this in the back and give it. No, I have nothing in here with light. Well,
But it will be fine when others are on.
I decided to come in this room. It's hard just because my wall.
Yeah, but you look fine to me. It's just because it's because we're not in like a studio. We're in our homes.
I know.
Some of these places that look good, they have studios. Like here, look, we'll get you one of these. Where are you putting that?
Watch.
Oh, up there?
Yeah.
See, look, it does not look better, Beth? The ring light.
What?
Put it on normal. That's too bright. Do the first one.
No.
Right? It's just this.
Too bright.
I'm gonna get
No.
these. Look it. It's just this. You just put it on.
It's too bright. You were too bright.
But you can make it dimmer.
Watch.
You'll try it. Okay, Matt. No more.
You're not too bright.
All right, turn it off. Turn it off, dim boy.
Oh my gosh.
The reflection
Wait,
of my
hold on.
head.
Let me make Beth the host before I forget. Make
Look
a
at
Bethy
you.
the host.
No, I'm co-host because then we make Michal. I'm gonna,
Co-host. That's what I meant. Sorry. Make co-host.
and then you're gonna make Michal co-host too. Or we'll just spotlight her.
Either way.
Are you in this? Are you?
I can make her either way. What?
Beth in the spare.
I don't know, Matt.
What did he ask?
And then it's already recording.
Oh, don't record it now.
Well, there's no way to stop it. Oh, wait.
Okay. Now they're saying there might be ice in the morning.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? I know Saturday into Sunday.
Yes, Arlene.
Oh, hi, Beth. We have the camera off because we're eating dinner.
Okay, no problem. All right, I'm so glad you're here. Say hi to Rob.
I will. He's here too.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Hi, Aviva. And I see Jody. I feel like, hi, Aviva.
Hi, sweetie.
I feel like, what's that show? I see Aviva and I see Kimberly. What was that?
What was that show?
Magic
That
Garden?
was like,
That was the
Right.
Magic Garden.
Magic
It's
Garden.
my all-time favorite show.
I see all my friends. I see Beth.
I see
my
Beth. I see
Romper room.
Romper
romper
Room,
room.
Oh, Romper Room. That's what it was.
right? Oh my God, is that so? What year was that?
Too long to remember what year it was.
It was Romper Room, Laura. You
Yeah,
were right,
50 years ago.
right? Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know who number 9 is.
I think that's our. Oh no, I don't know who that
I'm
is.
just grabbing my phone. I'll be right back.
Yeah, they
I'm glad you were able to join us. Are coming in. I'm glad you're home and able to join us.
Hello. She's on mute. Hi, Lise.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Al, how you feeling? Good? Hi, Lise.
Good.
Better.
God, yep. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to run a triathlon.
All right.
She had the second shot. Oh, Naomi, is that you in your car? Is that Naomi?
Yes, it's Naomi.
She's always in her car.
Aliette, did you have any reaction to the second shot?
She did.
For 4 days.
Oh my goodness.
She did. She wasn't
Glad you're
feeling
doing
well.
better.
It's all worth it. It's temporary, and what can I say? It's all
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're vaccinated. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, Mark's okay?
Yeah, he was one I was worried about. He was great, thank God. But it threw me for a loop. But you know what? It's, expected.
Yeah, I think it's just hearing so many mixed, you know what I mean? Some
Yeah, I
people,
thought 2 days, everybody I heard was 2. I didn't expect to be out of it for 4, but it's all manageable. And as I said, now I feel like I said to Mark, I probably have so many antibodies. No kidding. I probably run a marathon.
well, they say if you have a bad reaction, that means it really worked. So
Okay, all right.
exactly, and thank God Mark's okay. There's Bobby. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lise. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Everything's good?
Yes, I'm very excited. I like Unorthodox.
Good. We do too. She's great. You'll love her. Yeah. Hi, Lisa Yaskowitz.
So we have about half our people on, but it's just 7 o'clock. So let's give everyone a few more minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
People are just.
I'm not going to say that I raced to get here.
Yeah,
but
people are slowly logging in, but they're coming.
Yeah. But Naomi's
So-
in her car driving.
no, I'm not driving now.
You're sitting.
I'm at Haverford right now.
Okay, so you're
Okay.
sitting.
I'm
Naomi,
sitting.
I'd like to
Yes.
chapeau.
Right. It wouldn't be you without a
My car and
picture in
hat.
the car. It's okay.
It's true. It's me and my natural habitat.
But at least it works because you can
Yes.
still go on,
Yeah.
Wait a minute, let me.
you know.
Just feel like the camera is way too close to me.
No, you're not. Why is no? It's okay. Tracy will after we introduce Michal, then the camera will be on her.
We'll start in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's good.
We have people still coming in from the logging on and coming in from the waiting room. So we'll give it about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. And as people come in, they'll come in while we're talking.
That's great, right?
Yep.
So it's no problem. Oh, there's Elaine. Okay, Lori Adier, Vicky, Lori Weiner. Hi, Margie. Svetlana, Eileen, Erica, Allie, Ellen. There's Ellen. I see her. You're very dark, but we see you. Right.
Sorry,
Sarah,
little-
right. Hi, Sarah. You got the link.
Oh,
Okay.
there's Sandy.
Oh, there's Sandy. Hi.
We should next time do a poll with how many states are represented.
Well, that's right. Last time there were a lot. Yeah,
Right, Sandy's got Massachusetts covered.
exactly. Last time we had a lot from California.
Yeah, we did.
I'm gonna have to leave. I have a 7:30 meeting tonight, so you'll see me not here after 7:25.
And
All right.
we do record it. So if you
Yeah,
want if you want me to
Oh.
send you the recording tomorrow, let me know.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
that's
send it.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
If you feel like you missed anything when you left.
Terrific.
If you have
exactly.
burning questions, you can send them to Beth. And
Yeah. If you have any questions, just type. I'll tell everyone when everyone comes on. Just type any questions in the chat, which I'll tell everyone. We have some questions for her, and then we're taking questions. And then whoever also is, if they have to leave or has another meeting, we have the recording. It worked out nice last time. There were a couple people that had to leave because they had a conflict.
Right.
So the recording's nice.
So Beth, if you want to get started, we have probably about 10 more people to come in, but I think you can get started because
I'm going to give it 1 more minute. How about one more?
sounds good. We'll start at 7:05. You just tell me when.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if, well, there is it's a busy waiting room when you have to go in through the waiting room.
Yeah, but we're good. Everyone's in so far.
Good.
Hi, Elliot.
Hi, Bobby, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Nice to be seen.
Yeah.
Good to
Right.
be seen.
This is about the only way.
Yeah, and hopefully eventually in person, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah, Jessica was fabulous today. It was so great to see her.
Oh, thank you. That was a nice surprise when she called and told us that she was invited to be on the show.
It was awesome. She
Hi,
looked-
Vic.
What?
Hi, Vicki. It's Beth.
Beth, how are you?
Twice in one day. We have Jeanette.
I
and Jeanette.
know. I'll tell you, I think Jeanette's classes have just gotten better and better and better.
Oh, I thought today was really good. For anybody that doesn't go to Jeanette's class, Vicki, you could do a shout out for Jeanette's class.
You know what? Whatever stuff is happening in the world, in our lives all week, Jeanette just resets. She really just resets all of our lives. And her classes this year, I think, are more relevant than ever. She really ties everything into things that are happening just in the world today in general. And
Yeah.
brings us back to how proud we should be of our Jewish heritage.
Yeah, it was an excellent class today.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was funny. I just sent a text earlier to Sarah, and I said to her, one of these days I'm calling and I'll join. Sometimes it's just too many conflicts, but I know she's phenomenal.
Yeah. So
whenever she speaks, I never leave without a dry eye.
all right. So Tracy, you think we have anyone else well, we have a bunch of people still coming in the waiting room, but why don't we?
Yeah, let's get started. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to thank everybody for joining tonight. This is our second JUniversity event, and we're really excited to see everybody. Tonight's event is the JUniversity's Unorthodox Uncovered, and it will be a Q&A with Michal Birnbaum. And I'll be your host today. For anybody that I don't know, I'm Beth Kushnick, and I'm the adult coordinator at the JCC of the Lehigh Valley. So just a couple things before we get started and I introduce Michal. The JCC of the Lehigh Valley continues our Unorthodox Uncovered series on Wednesday, March 3rd at noon with Rabbi Michael Bayo. So Rabbi Bayo is actually the executive director of the East Valley JCC in Arizona. And he grew up in the Haredi movement and has since left, and he tells his story. So that's part 2. Also that day in the evening, we have a super fun art class called paper cutting. It's the newest craze in art. It's paper cutting, and it's being taught by the artist Dina Levy, who's coming to us from Teaneck, New Jersey. And then on Sunday, March 7th at 11 a.m., we're welcoming Amy Zittelman from Zoom Foods. So she will be doing a live cooking demo, making an amazing chopped salad and her signature granola. And she will talk to us about her latest book, The Tahini Table, which she wrote with her sisters. So as you guys know, if you're a JCC member, it's free. And if you're not, it's a $10 donation to the JCC. So I hope I will see you. We have a lot scheduled all through June, and we're really happy you're here tonight. So Michal is here with us. Michal, you want to come on? Great. Okay, Tracy, will you just spotlight Michal?
Yep.
Okay. So welcome to our Zoom event, Michal. Michal is a native of Israel. She's born and raised in the ultra-Orthodox community. In her obligatory military service, she served as arts and entertainer reporter for the Israeli radio station. Afterwards, she went to New York City to study Jewish studies on a full scholarship. Then she studied method acting at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute and trained at the Stellar Adler Studio. She's living in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and today she is joining us from her home. So we really welcome you, Michal, and thank you for being here. Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know we have questions that we're going to start with. And we welcome all of you to please use the chat feature and write your questions in the chat. So after about 5 questions, we will go to the audience and take questions. So Michal, welcome, and we're really happy and thankful that you're here tonight.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to the JCC for hosting me tonight.
So we want to start, of course, can you tell us a little bit of background about Unorthodox and how you got involved in the project?
So I actually read the book years ago when as research for my own short film. It's also about the Hasidic community here in Williamsburg. And back then I already thought it was phenomenal, and there's really some really interesting, unusual stories in this book that Deborah tells of her experience. And when I heard the show that they were about to make it into a show, I immediately contacted the writers, who are also the showrunners, Anna and Alexa, and I just sent them my short film because I speak Yiddish on it as well, and that's it. I auditioned, and here we are.
Really nice. So tell us, are you surprised, number one, by the success of the show? And number two, if everyone hasn't heard, it's been nominated for a Golden Globe for a miniseries, and Shira Haas was nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah. First of all, no surprises. When I first read the script, I just immediately knew it's going to be a hit. I mean, the story is very interesting, but also just dramatically how it's written, and we go back and forth in time through the entire series. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant that we start with her leaving home, then little by little we go back and we find out why she left and what happened. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And of course, as we kind of pre-show, we kind of talked a little bit, the pandemic definitely helped in that sense. So, you know, it's not fun, but this is just one little thing that I think was a little positive, at least for the show and for Netflix, I guess in general, is that people were craving binging, and so everyone kind of watched it, and it became a hit. And it's in Yiddish, which is just so, I feel like especially maybe English speaking audience, they don't necessarily love watching stuff with subtitles. And suddenly everyone's watching Yiddish all over the world. And that was a really nice surprise.
It's wonderful. How has your life changed as a result?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still a pandemic, but there are some project line, you know, down the line, and we'll see what happens in the city with theater and with film. But it definitely helps that people know you and recognize your face.
That's excellent. So going back to what you said about Deborah Feldman, and you first, you know, learned about the series and trying out for a role. There's been some criticism how the Orthodox community was presented. Critics had noted that Deborah Feldman's account in her life's events isn't fully accurate. This series and her book don't display a full picture of the community. What criticisms have you heard, and how do you respond to them?
It's interesting. I think actually the most critic that we got was actually about the Berlin part, and that people felt like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. She just lands there and everyone is friends with her, and that makes I guess the first part of her life seem so bad because no one's friends with her there and here. But you know, that's actually pretty accurate. Deborah, you know, told us about this cafe where she kind of moved to Berlin and met random people and became friends with them. So it is possible. It does happen in life. Other criticism, listen, this is her story, and I think this is just an opportunity for other people to tell their stories as well. So I think now that people are more curious about the community, they are open to hear other people's stories. And yes, maybe some people left and are still in touch with. I think actually most people are still in touch with their family. And yes, maybe it's not so tragic for them. And I think it would be great to see more Yiddish and more shows and films, and just to have more people tell their side if they feel it's inaccurate. I think it would be great to hear more about that.
That's very true. I mean, more people could learn. So I knew this from talking to you, but you're from an Orthodox family. How did they react to you being part of this show and how it portrays the ultra-Orthodox community?
I think for the most part, people liked it, people enjoyed it. And you know, I'm very happy to play the little comedic relief in the show. It's a lot of fun, and it shows a more humane side of the community. And it's not only those, yes, there are rules and they're super strict, but there's also a place for women bonding, and there's humor and there's fun and curiosity. So yeah, I think for the most part, people really enjoyed it. They loved, you know, the wedding scene, the Seder scenes, kind of like those big events, part of Jewish life, and also the, you know, little, we went really in detail, you know, the eruv and everything, you know, the clothing, the items, you know, Maria and Ellie, who was the Hasidic kind of consultant, they really cared about the details. They really wanted it to be as accurate as possible. And that's always, especially if you know the community, it's always fun to see how much work was put into making sure everything was accurate.
That's great. How long did it actually take to film each episode?
Filming started in, I guess, April through August. So yeah, because it's not a show that takes place, you know, here in Bushwick, bunch of hipsters in a bar. This is, you have to make the set, and you have to, actually, we had a little crisis the day before we filmed my scene, because they had to make sure that they have all the books, all the like holy, the like Kodesh books behind us, you know, like tons of like volumes of Talmud and stuff in the back, and it was actually really hard to get them, but eventually we did. So all those little details, it took a lot of time to create it. So it's not just 4 episodes. It really felt more like a feature film in a sense to film, and most of it was in Berlin. So the production is German, and the showrunners are based in Berlin. So everything that you see indoors was filmed in Berlin. So we had a set that looked like New York over there, and then only 1 or 2 weeks were filmed here in New York. Only the outside, when you see her walking outside from one building to another. This is here in I guess in Crown Heights, border of Williamsburg.
Very nice. Well, personally, were you conflicted about the show showing negative aspects of the ultra-Orthodox Hasidic community? Was it difficult at times?
It's a good question. I think because it does show a complex reality, and especially in the beginning, you know, she's, you know, maybe she wants to learn piano, and they don't like it so much, but she also meets this really cute guy, and she is generally happy to marry him, and she's really devoted to her grandparents. So I do think we see different sides, and my character represents a woman who's totally satisfied and totally, you know, I'm happy with where I am, you know, with my role in the community, and I feel like you know, a sense of I have a responsibility to teach the next generation. My role is the closest to a rabbi, I guess, that a woman can be in this community. And that's a lot of responsibility. And I feel completely like I'm doing something very, very important, teaching Torah, teaching, the rules of family purity. So there's that. There are women who are completely satisfied with their role in the community, and then there are women like Esty. So because of this complexity, I don't think it's portraying the community in a negative way.
So it's very realistic?
I think so. But of course, if you're part of the community, listen, it's a TV show. Everything is hyper, it's a drama. In real life, Deborah Feldman is a writer. She left the community and became a writer. Writing is not very cinematic. So they made her a singer or, a musician. It's a little more exciting. So you have to understand there's some artistic license that you have to take if you wanna be on Netflix,
Right, exactly. Was the majority of the actors and actresses Jewish and had any background in living in the community as you did, growing up in the community?
Right. So the main three actors are actually all Israelis, Shira and Jeff, who plays the villain, the Moshe, the villain, and Amit, who plays the husband. And Jeff grew up in a Hasidic community, I think in Tzfat and then in Jerusalem. And when he was pretty young, I don't know when, but at some point he moved to Berlin. Shira and Amit are not from Orthodox families, but they grew up in Israel. So
that's interesting. So for them, it was probably a learning experience too.
Yeah, although Shira has some experience because I'm sure many of you watched Shtisel. So she played a similar character in the past. Actually, now as we speak, Amit is filming a feature film in Israel where he plays a Hasidic, not Hasidic, I think, but Orthodox, like Haredi guy.
That's excellent. That's incredible. A lot of people had known she had gone with Shtisel and seen that. So I'm going to ask you a question about the issue of victimhood. So I watched the show a couple times. I loved it. And even when I watched it, I saw a lot of victims. Etsy's a victim. Her mother was a victim, but also Fine Yankee. He's kind of a victim in the system. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, depends who you are and how you feel about the character of Yankee. But yeah, in a way, he's I don't know if victim, but definitely a product of the same community and men. There's no scene like this in Unorthodox because Esty, the main character, but the same scene could be for him too. So he also has a rabbi teaching him what to do on the first night and all that. And he's also super clueless, like he doesn't know what to do and he's nervous. We tend to think of maybe women in these situations being super nervous, but the men are just as nervous. And he doesn't know what to do and he gets all these instructions. And of course, there's his mother, he's my king. So, yeah, I mean, at what age, okay, victim, but then at some point you're an adult and you're supposed to make your choices. But yeah, I think that's why I love the character of the grandmother, the Holocaust survivor, because yes, she's part of the community, but she's almost like old enough to do almost whatever she wants. And, she can listen to classical music and that doesn't mean she's not frum. That doesn't mean she's not Hasidic, but she feels like, yeah, I want to listen to classical music and I want to be part of the community. And, so for her, it kind of works. For Esty, it's too much. She wants too much and she wants different things. And so she feels like she has to leave. But I think a lot of people do have, I don't know, maybe a smartphone, a radio or something, and that's fine, but they still consider themselves Hasidic. They still want to be part of the community. And yeah, here and there, like quote unquote, they have little sins. Yeah, when they go to a bar in Manhattan or they watch a movie. That's why I think it's so relatable because even if you're not Jewish or religious, but usually you live in some kind of a set of rules, and then you want to break them, but you still want to be part of the system that you brought up in. And that's why I think the show is so universal and relatable.
Do you get asked a lot if you are leading your Hasidic life now?
Now, no. Yeah, I get, it's so funny, emails and messages like, when did you leave? You grew up. I did not grow up Hasidic. I did grow up in Bnei Brak, in Orthodox community in Israel, but it's a lot more modern and different. And then I served in the army. So yeah, my story is not it's not similar to Esty, but yeah, it's the biggest compliment, I guess, because I did want the Yiddish, and I worked with another coach too, who grew up in Williamsburg, to really make sure that the Yiddish feels like it's so natural in my mouth, and that I speak it every day.
It was beautifully done. It was very natural and realistic. And I think the Yiddish brought back so many moments for so many people. And I think it really captured so many people's interest with the Yiddish. So let's just switch gears a minute. You recently wrote and produced and directed a short film called Division Avenue. Can you tell us a little about Division Avenue?
Yeah, so I did not direct it. Tamar Glazerman directed it. But yeah, this is, it's based on a true story. Maybe, I don't know if you're familiar with Williamsburg, but on the corner of Division and Marcy Avenue, there's a corner where, well, now it's pandemic, things are a little different. Usually, cleaning ladies kind of stand there every morning, and people from Hasidic community kind of hire them to be day labor to clean. And the film is about a cleaning lady from Mexico that's being hired to clean for Pesach, for Passover, for a Hasidic woman, and the friendship between them. So she's from Mexico, and all the rules of Pesach. Actually, in my film, there's also a scene with foil. The entire kitchen is foil, and she's just doesn't understand what's going on. So yeah, I created it with Lorena Rodriguez, who's my friend from Lee Strasberg, from the theater school, and we felt like Brooklyn is, if you tell a story that's happening in Brooklyn, it's just the perfect environment for these two groups of immigrants, essentially, that Latina filmmaker and Jewish filmmaker, and we really wanted to tell this story of bonding of these two communities.
That's wonderful. So how were you able to connect with the women to share their stories with you?
There's an organization called the Workers' Justice Project. Their main goal is to kind of unionize or help the cleaning ladies and domestic workers, also construction workers in Brooklyn. And yeah, this was a collaboration with them. We had a screening with the cleaning ladies from the organization, and it was it was very moving and interesting.
So did you find shared moments of humanity and compassion?
Absolutely. It's very interesting. Like each, they have different stories of some of them are also, they become babysitters of the Hasidic kids. It's just it's two completely different worlds, and how they come together. It almost feels like it can only happen in New York City.
That's fantastic. So I understand it won awards. So tell us about this.
Yeah, we won a couple of awards in festivals in New York and in California. But because of the pandemic, it was around in the festival circuit, and now we released it. So you can watch it online on YouTube.
Oh, is that where? Okay, so we could it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I can actually.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Can you put us?
There it is. It's in the chat. Yeah, it's a short, it's 15 minutes. It has Yiddish in it and Spanish in it and English. And
So how was it to work with the people that you hired for the film, and how was it when everyone worked together?
Yeah, we had a Kickstarter campaign. That's how we paid for the film. And it was very heartwarming to see that both people from the Jewish community and from the Latin American community were interested in contributing and helping us make this film. So that was great. And our team, our team from theater school, from film school, from all over, we kind of put our team together. And yeah, our composer, Nadav Remez, another Israeli who composed like a Hasidic nigunim for us. If you listen to the soundtrack, you'll hear it.
Sounds beautiful. So how did you get the actors that played in there, other than you met cleaning ladies in the neighborhood, clearly, but then you went out and found, were looking for actors to try out for the parts?
Yeah, some of the actors, 2 actors, also they grew up, one was Hasidic, one was I guess more Litvish, but they both grew up in Brooklyn, and they speak Yiddish. And it's a small community at the end of the day, like Yiddish speaking actors, it's only so many of them, but we all know each other. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on it.
That sounds like an amazing project. So tell us, what are you doing now with that project that you did? You finished that, and what are you doing now? And are you working on anything new to share with us?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I can share anything, but yeah, I do have a few things in the future. Also a little Zoom play that, people try to invent, like what to do with Zoom. We did a little Zoom play recently. And then we're all hoping maybe in the summer, some things will be open, at least outdoors in New York. I see Shakespeare in the Park. They want to open, they're very optimistic. So let's see, maybe we can go back to production soon.
That would be good. So what, are you into Netflix, and do you watch any shows?
What do I watch? I watched Big Mouth. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's animated, kind of coming of age, but it's really for adults. But it's a bunch of like 11 or 12-year-old kids. It's very funny. And I watched, what else did I watch? I watched WandaVision. It's on Disney Plus. I don't know. Again, it's like a Marvel crazy sci-fi imagination story. Yeah, I don't know. What do you watch?
Well, I was curious if you're into the Fauda shows or any of the Israeli shows.
I have to tell you, I've never watched it. I've never watched Fauda. I know I should. I also
have a lot of Fauda fans on tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Watching you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Fantastic. And that everyone's always excited about the new seasons. And another friend of ours who's on watching tonight recommended Tehran, and people loved that show. But I think what you said earlier, which we said before you came on, if it wasn't this pandemic, we're not sure so many people would have started watching the Netflix series, and right as the pandemic hit is when Unorthodox came out. So I think there was so many people that saw the show, and it was so interesting because it was only 4 episodes. So it was short, but it really had you waiting, and you were so excited to watch the next episode, but it wasn't something that was so drawn out. So that probably was really nice to do also. It was short, it was concise, and you could tell it was a hit. I mean, how did you guys feel when you got nominated for the Golden Globes? Tell us what the actors and actresses thought.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, we were nominated for the Emmys. We had 8 nominations in the Emmys, and we got 1. So Maria Schrader, the director won an Emmy for directing, and she's amazing, and she's an actor too, and you really feel it. And I have to say, it's still unfortunately, it's still pretty rare to have a woman to work with a woman director, and it was just so nice and refreshing for me to work on set with a woman director. She actually has a feature film in the Berlin Film Festival coming up that she directed, so we're all excited for her. And yeah, the Golden Globes, Shira is nominated next to Nicole Kidman. It's amazing. And this is also a precedent, and she's the first, I think, Israeli actress who's nominated for the Golden Globes. And then we're next to the Queen's Gambit that everyone's crazy about, and all these other shows. And it's in Yiddish. It's in Yiddish. It's, especially living in Brooklyn or in New York, Lower East Side used to be like Yiddish theater district, and it's kind of disappeared. And it's really like a little bit of a renaissance of the Yiddish language, and it's very exciting.
I mean, there were so many fans that were so excited, and like you said, to be nominated next to other shows, and for her to be nominated with wonderful actresses, it really shows how much it was loved. So we have a question. Would you consider producing a Yiddish play for a Yiddish theater?
Of course. I mean, first of all, some of the actors, Ronit, who plays Malka, and the guy, Gera Sandler, who plays the father, they're married to each other in real life, even though they play brother and sister on Unorthodox. And Ellie, who plays the rabbi, and the actor who plays the grandfather, they're all part of New Yiddish Rep. So there is really there's a renaissance of Yiddish, because not only there's the folks that's been around for years here in New York, there is a new group who's doing Yiddish theater here in New York. So definitely, and we're all just waiting for things to open and to produce again. And yes, performing Yiddish is just so fun, and the language is so like juicy, and you have all these things that you can't say in any other language.
It was very natural for you too.
Yeah. Did you see Fiddler in Yiddish? Yes, I saw it twice, and it's amazing. And the main two, I mean, the character who plays Hodel, I think one of the couples are also couples in real life. They got married. It's all very exciting. Yiddish, Fiddler in Yiddish. That was awesome.
So do you have plans to stay in New York, or do you think that you'll be back in Israel, or what are your plans?
I go back and forth. I don't feel like I have to choose. I'm usually here in Brooklyn. Sometimes I go to Israel and Tel Aviv. And yeah, I think a lot of actors or a lot of millennials they don't feel like they have to choose, and they really just want to have an apartment in every capital in the world. So trying to do that a little bit.
And your family, just share with us, are they still in Israel?
Yeah, my family, they all live in Israel.
Are you the only actor, or are you the only actress in the family, or?
Well, funny you should ask. Yeah, my older sister used to be an actor, not so much anymore, but yeah. So she was definitely an inspiration for me.
That's wonderful. A lot of times it's in the family, but neither of your parents.
No, not really.
So, okay, we have another question. Let's see, what was your family's response to the show?
They loved it. I mean, really. And it's so funny to hear from your parents. People ask me in shul, are you, this and that, and how you filmed it in Berlin, and they flew you all the way. That's the funniest thing about it. I live like literally 10 minutes away from Hasidic Williamsburg, and they flew me all the way to Berlin to film it, because that's where the set was. So yeah, everyone, I personally only got good responses, and yeah, no haters.
That's wonderful. And we have another question. Do you have any interest in moving to the West Coast or California where so many movies and shows are filmed?
Right. Not so much. I love theater and I am part of this. Naomi's very excited. I'm part of the theater community. Yes, there's theater in LA, but come on, I mean, off Broadway is my personal goal. I do want to be part of theater, and you know, you can always fly back and forth. I feel like less people move to the West Coast. I feel like it's just everything is on Zoom anyways. You never audition in person. I auditioned to Unorthodox. I just sent them a tape. So yeah, you can be anywhere.
So go back to that for a second. That's so interesting. So probably most of us think that you audition in person. How does that work? How did that work for auditioning for that show?
Yeah, I think also particularly Unorthodox is that the main people were kind of in Berlin and they auditioned people from Israel, and we had like the actress playing the mom, Este's mom is from England, and Dahlia, the mother-in-law, is from Switzerland. So yeah, you just sense. The funny thing, maybe if you're not in show business, maybe you're not aware of it, but usually when you audition, they don't give you the text of the character. So they just give you either not random, but a scene that is either written specifically for the audition or some other character. And that's also because of privacy. They don't want people to know the actual text of the show. They're very private about it. So yeah, I read a completely different scene. And so it was a surprise when they told me I'm going to be the Kala teacher. I did not expect that. Also because traditionally, or I should say stereotypically, it's an older woman. So that was, I think, a very interesting, kind of bold choice for the writers to make me more like Este's peer and kind of like the woman that Este like aspires to be, but she never will be, because I'm this perfect Hasidic woman who knows all the rules and follows them, you know, happily. And Este kind of looks up to me, and she knows she has to leave.
That's interesting. So you knew you were trying out for the show, so they don't give you a specific part. You didn't know what part you were trying out for, which is, in a lot of times when people try out or the actors try out, they do know what specific role they were going to play.
Right. Yeah. I read something different. I made it quite comedic. So I think that's what made them think that I would be a good fit for the college teacher.
It was a great part, and you were fabulous doing it. So was any part in Yiddish when you tried out?
Yes, of course. Yes, it was all Yiddish. It was all Yiddish.
So you knew that was a prerequisite to try out for the show, but was your Yiddish, would you say, better than people that had tried out? Did it become better? Did they ask you to take more classes or?
Right. Yeah, I was exposed to Yiddish growing up, but I wouldn't tell you that I speak it fluently. Also, the Yiddish in Williamsburg is so specific and different than it's like mixed with English, of course, and there's a flair of like Hungarian accent, which actually I do have from home. So yeah, I specifically worked with a coach from the community to really get this very, very specific dialect, I should say.
So you worked with the coach after getting the part or prior to trying out?
Both. I did work with someone towards the audition because that's how badly I wanted it.
That's incredible. So how long did that process take from when you tried out for the part until you received the great news?
Almost a month. Yeah. So they were auditioning a lot of people, I guess.
And how did you find the cast got along? Because it sounds like people from all over the world, from Switzerland or from Israel and from the United States?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Actually, it's really interesting because the set, our cinematographer didn't speak English very well. So the director spoke German to him, English to us. Amongst us, me and Shira, like we speak Hebrew. There's Yiddish. So there's just all these languages on set. That was very interesting. It was fun. I'm in the language. I'm in German and Yiddish. So sound and lighting people around us, even though they're German, they kind of understand what we're saying. It was interesting.
That sounds great. And tell us a little bit about the costumes in the show. So there were a lot of scenes and a lot of outfits and costumes and.
Yeah. So first of all, the show definitely prides itself for all the Streimels are all, they're not real animals. I'm blanking on what I want to say, like a fox's tails.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Usually, yeah. So this was not. It was like a faux fur, and yeah, they took research. They definitely flew here to Brooklyn a bunch of times to kind of see exactly how people dress, and yeah, it was great. Spitzel. To the detail, because really there's a lot of details to make sure that everyone is really dressed appropriately
and replicated beautifully. So we had a question, this is great. How did the actual residents of Williamsburg feel about the portrayal in the show? And was there positive or negative reaction?
Yeah, I think, well, here's the thing. I mean, theoretically, you're not supposed to have Netflix or a smartphone or anything. But, when you go on, I don't know why, but especially Twitter, I feel like people feel like they can hide on Twitter and they have all these, nicknames. Obviously, they don't reveal who's behind the user. So, I mean, go and see for yourself. I think, of course, some people really didn't appreciate it, but at the same time, it made Williamsburg very famous. If it wasn't for the pandemic, I bet a lot of people would kind of, as tourism would be interested in seeing the neighborhood. I think for the most part, people did like it, did enjoy seeing themselves on the screen. There's always criticism, no matter, if you make a show about the JCC, I don't know, someone will say, hey, that's not it. Our accountant is not like that. You can't make everyone happy, but I think just to see the representation on Netflix, I think is huge.
I'm sure it was wonderful. How was it filming in the actual neighborhood when you came back to Berlin into Brooklyn? Did you find people gathered to watch as they do if a filming is taking place in Manhattan or wherever?
So my scenes were all indoors, so I only filmed in Berlin. I wasn't really part of the New York filming. When I did my film, we did have, it was like a little strange. We recreated the corner in Park Slope. We had like a bunch of Latina cleaning ladies standing there, and then a bunch of Hasidic women, actors standing there. And we did have like a few people coming in and asking like what we're doing so yeah, I did have a little bit of that and on my film set. As far as Unorthodox, I'm not sure. I bet people stopped by and wondered what all these Hasidic people are doing here in front of a camera.
Yeah, and it's interesting you did bring up that a lot of them, or a lot of people that are ultra-Orthodox don't have the TVs or don't listen to the radio. They might listen to the radio, but they're not necessarily on Netflix. But like you said, some of them are, some of them aren't. We don't know. But I think that is the big question. A lot of us wonder, did it really represent the community? I mean, like you said, there's people that absolutely know what it's like there. You live nearby, you're 10 minutes away. And the outfits and the costumes really do depict what they look like. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, and I think, listen, it is one woman's story. I mean, Deborah's story to begin with, she was a little outcast because her mom left, and well, the way it's in the show, it's not exactly how she talks about her dad, but there was clearly something going on with her dad. And so to begin with, already her starting point was not great in a community where you're matched up. You know, yichus, like the ancestry of your family is the most important thing. So if you're a rabbi's daughter, you will be matched with a rabbi's son, and so on. And so to begin with, Deborah was matched with, I don't know exactly, I don't know everything about her personal life, but to begin with, it was like, okay, she's not exactly an orphan, but she doesn't have a mom. Okay, we're going to match her with this person. And so I get it why a lot of people don't feel like it represents them, because maybe they had a really better opportunities within the community.
Right. Let's see. Naomi's asking, I saw the casting notices for Unorthodox. They requested people with an understanding Orthodox attire and shidels.
Yeah, that might have been for extra, for like background actors. That's possible. Many times when you make a film, you kind of ask people to bring their own because it already fits them and everything. So maybe that's what you saw. It's possible.
That's what I was going to ask also about the extras. There were quite a few people that were extras. So honestly, they probably advertised like Naomi said, and there's people that were in the community that had things like that, or that were Orthodox that wanted to be in the show.
Yeah, and in Berlin, you know, you walk down this, you know, there used to be a website, Chassid or Hipster, where you have to guess if a guy is Chassid or Hipster. They all have like long beards, and it's like you just put a shtreimel on them, and there you go, you have a Hasidic guy. So that's what happened in Berlin. I don't know if all of them were Jewish. I'm guessing not, but they still have a beard, so that works.
Exactly. How did you find filming in Berlin and being there as a Jewish woman and
it, you know, I didn't think it would be so. It was my first time in Berlin. Funny enough, less than a year after I went there again for the film festival. It was intense. You know, a lot of Israelis kind of move to Berlin these days because they feel like it's close enough to Israel. You know, it's not New York, but everyone speaks English. And if you're an artist, you feel like maybe you have a better chance there. It's intense. I don't know how Jewish/Israeli people can live there. I feel like the past is everywhere in this city, and for me it was hard. Of course, I went on. I had some days off from set, and I went on, you know, like a tour to sightseeing, and it's hard. You know, this is where they gathered the Jews. This is where they burned the books, and you know, for me, it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't light experience. And I think it informs the show. So the creators live in Berlin. They're Jewish. They live in Berlin, and it definitely informed the way they wrote the show. And throughout, you know, the Holocaust is in the background throughout the show. It informs how people act, you know, and how Esty makes choices, even though she leaves. You know, she has a baby, and she feels like, of course, she's not giving up that baby. I think that's relatable, even if you're not religious.
So that's we had JUniversity last month. We hosted the Holoprince, who lives in Berlin. So he's Israeli, and he moved to Berlin, and he said that there's a lot of Israelis going to Berlin, but it's probably was very different coming from where you grew up in Brooklyn, or you grew up in Israel and now live in Brooklyn amongst so many people, to go there and also be there for, you said, for 3 months you were filming?
I was there for 2 weeks because I only filmed my scenes, but yes, around 3 months, the entire the rest of the cast was there.
It's incredible. It was probably so so eye-opening as well. And nice for you to be able to be there. So you went, tell us you went back for the film festival again?
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, less than a year after I went to be part of this artists program of Berlin Film Festival. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's also something very symbolic about, going back and then, telling our own story and filming a Jewish show in Germany.
Well, we were so glad to hear, your experience. And actually, I'm sure also as a Jewish woman being there filming and taking those days that you had off to see what it was really like was completely eye-opening. And, it was probably much more interesting filming in Berlin than if you had just filmed in a building in New York.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we had a chance to really build a set, pay attention to the details.
Amazing. Does anyone have any other questions for Michal? I could tell you, you have so many fans, and the show had so many fans. And the nice thing about it, with the 4 episodes, it is so great to watch again, even, and to tell people that aren't Jewish about the show, because I think you hit something. You don't have to be Jewish to like the show, and I love the fact that the Yiddish people learned about that.
Yeah,
So,
we had people from Muslim communities or certain Asian communities kind of talking about it, posting about it, how relatable it is. Let's discuss the character. The college teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. The college teacher. Yeah, again, I thought it was so brilliant. I think Alexa wrote this character. I just thought it was so brilliant to make. Usually we think of this experience as really awkward and scary. And when I read it, I was like, it took me a minute to understand when I read the text, like, oh, this whole thing is a joke. It took me a moment to realize that is she a good college teacher? Does she love what she does? And it's so funny because really different people take different things from those scenes. Some people actually think it is very traumatic, and she comes out of her conversations with me like not understanding anything about anatomy. I love that they talked about things that even not in Hasidic communities, you barely hear about, what Deborah suffered from, vaginismus. And it's pretty rare to see a TV show talk about it. So I think it was great that they talked about this issue. Yeah.
So another question, Michal, are you enjoying your role as a spokesperson to be able to teach people, Jewish or non-Jewish, about the traditions like that they were there? And did you ever imagine your breakthrough role would be a religious figure? And how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know if I see myself as a spokesperson. There are a lot of Jews out there, you can pick your spokespeople. How do I feel about it? It's great. I mean, I think it's so far from when people meet me or see me in real life. It's so far from who I am, that it just allows me to play. It's not necessarily like a typecast. I feel like I can play many different things. Yeah, there's something very heartwarming about like going back and playing like those characters that I saw in shul growing up. It's a lot of fun. Did I imagine it? No, but I think it's great.
That's wonderful. Well, we were really, really happy that you were here. We have one other one. Let's see. Have you been recognized by the religious community for the role? Like, have they reached out to you?
Is there Frum Awards that I missed? Not that I know, but that's okay. I mean, I think this is my award. I've speaking to different communities and just speaking Yiddish on their Netflix has like 70 million subscribers, and that doesn't include all the people who steal the password from their neighbors. So you can imagine like how many people watched it. It's really, when it came out, I was in Israel in quarantine in Rishon LeZion in like a tiny room that I had to quarantine because that was the rule. It's so hard to, it's hard to imagine like how many people watch it. It just, you can't even start. You'll go crazy if you think of how many people actually watched it. So that's the award or reward. It's just great to be able to be part of this team and tell the story.
Well, we're thrilled that you were here and so happy that you were able to join us. And we really appreciate sharing your thoughts and answering questions.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
We love it, and we look forward. We will share the YouTube movie. That sounds wonderful. We wish you much success, and it sounds like you have a couple things up your sleeve that you can't share with us.
Right.
But we'll be super excited to hear what you're doing in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we really appreciate it. We wish you much help and much success.
Thank you.
And for all of our viewers, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us. And it's really nice to, as much as Zoom, I think, is a drag for a lot of people, we really have the benefits of bringing people into our homes. And Michal, in the weather in Pennsylvania, it's not stopped snowing, and they're calling for ice tonight. And today was a snow day. So if we were in person, we wouldn't be able to have everything. So everyone could be at their home, have a coffee, have a soda, relax, have a snack, and enjoy. And I get to see friends and family, and it was wonderful. So again, the JCC thanks everyone that tuned in. And if anyone has any questions about what's coming up, but we've got a full schedule through the end of June, and we'll be off for the summer and then come back in September. But again, it's just, we appreciate the support, and it's so nice to see everyone. So have a good night and stay well. And as they say, stay inside if you haven't had the vaccine. And for all those that have, we're so happy. My friend Eliette just had her second, and everybody else, we just wish you guys stay well. So we'll see you soon.